Hello and welcome to my podcast, Up Your Total Glow, your podcast for your body, mind and soul to support, guide and empower you to uncover your most glowing, healthiest and feel-good version of you. I am super excited that you are here because if you ask me, there's nothing that looks and feels better. In today's episode, I'm speaking with the wonderful Gao Motsemme. Gao is a freedom illuminator embodiment queen, and she has helped many women and men who felt lost, exhausted, and didn't know what to do, who they are, or where to start to break free from generational toxic relationships and rapidly rebuild and awaken confidence and pleasure. Gao has the very unique ability to tune into your energetic fields and scan and work on the patterns that interfere with your freedom and success. This is a very beautiful interview, and Gao first tells her own story, how she broke free from the chains, from the bonds that kept her imprisoned, how she, by doing that, harnessed harmony, and how she is now empowering others to do the same. If you are looking to find your power within and break free from any bonds, then this is a must listen for you. Please enjoy. Here she is, the amazing Gao. Hello and welcome, Gao. I'm so excited to have you here today. You are glowing, and I can't wait to dive into what I believe will be a very empowered conversation with you. First question, bombarding you straight away. Gao, why are you calling yourself Gao the Queen? I mean, you look it, but tell me.
I love that question. I've never heard it before. Thanks for having me. I'm just so pleasured to be here. And I'm gonna jump into that question. But before I start, I want to greet you in my native language and greet your audience as well. And normally I just start with Dumelang, Dumelang, Lokai. And in a direct translation, it's agree. Where are you locate yourself? And what are you agreeing to? Are you agreeing to I thrive? Are you agreeing to thrive, which is the mission that Ruth has called us for? So I'm here because I want to thrive in life. So I just want to ask you as the listener to say, are you really willing to thrive as you come here? Is that your intention? And going back to your question, how the queen, that's who I am. And that's who I've always known myself to be. And as I was going through my life from childhood, I had this, I would say aura, even though I didn't know what aura is, but I had this unapologetic entrance to life. Doesn't matter where I was, but I felt that I deserve to be seen. I've got an opinion and I get to share it, you know. And it's something that I'm proud of. It's something that also caused me a wound, because at the same time, as much as a child who comes knowing, he or she threatens the status quo, how things were, the culture, the society, and all that. So the question that I was often asked was, who the hell do you think you are? Or as my mom said, you are not like my other children. You understand? And there was also this thing that you think you are somebody, you think, or if you get to be successful in life, you will step on our toes, that kind of thing. But my knowing who I am had nothing with what I had or what people believe, think, accept, and all that, but it's something that I embodied. So I had to remind myself again, after going through a lot of trials and tribulations, to say how you are the queen. It doesn't matter what you have or what you don't, because I went through a period where I didn't have anything. So it's kind of like you are the queen. It's not about what you have, it's who you are. So I get to embody it and remind myself every day.
Thank you so much. I totally agree with you. And I think this message is super empowering and beautiful. I would love to dive a little bit into your journey, because I do believe our journeys are here to empower us, to, maybe in your words, to help you empowering the queen even more. So would you share with us some of those, yeah, hardships that you had to go through?
I'd love to. Yeah, like I started already saying that I had to fight to be me.
Mm,
That's like,
yeah.
hey, accept me as I am. Don't wait for me to change and be who you expect me to be for you to accept me. It's okay as I am and I get to be accepted. So I grew up having to fight that you are not like other people. You don't have to dress that way. You get to dress like the society dresses, especially from a traditional African family. When I put on pants, like during the time when I was growing up, it was kind of like, why don't you just wear a dress or a skirt or something like that? And I would go again buy a skirt or a dress, still with my mom in mind, like, I want to make you proud, mommy. And when I come, because of the whole design and everything that I was called to, why don't you just buy a normal skirt? It's kind of like, what am I gonna do here? So I went through that, like trying to fit in. And there is something that is also, it's quite interesting because this is like something that is like coming through strongly today. And I still remember being that child who was like, hi, what is what is here? What do we get to do?
Mm,
This was always misinterpreted as someone who, I don't know why, but somehow sexualized.
mhm,
There was always that saying that she's not gonna finish school.
mhm,
Like that kind of like conviction, she's not gonna finish school. And I was actually born when my mom was 14, my father was 16. So I had older siblings, enough to be my mother because their children were my age.
mhm,
And I still remember when I was 14, 13, somewhere there. I was looking for my brother because we didn't have TV and he went to watch TV somewhere, but I didn't know where he was. So I went to ask my sister who was in her own place, have you seen my younger brother? And the response was, oh, maybe you just told him to go somewhere so that he can go and bitch around. And I'm like, what?
mm,
you know. So that kind of like implanted some sort of shame before I even discovered my own sexuality, before I got to be in a relationship with my own sexuality, let alone even having like my first period or something like that.
mm,
So there was already that shame that was brought in. She's not gonna finish school, a bitch, and all that. So I grew up with that, still not understanding who I am or what is expected of me. And then this whole wanting to be accepted led me to toxic relationship, which is an evidence of my children. I had two children with this guy, and it was a toxic relationship in terms of cheating and a lot of things that happened. And not only just cheating, because cheating with any other girl, woman is kind of like we're used to that. But for me, it was accepting that way too many times. And
mm,
the only time that I had the guts to leave that relationship was when I found out that he was in a relationship with his sister-in-law. That was kind of like a kick in the gut that I couldn't process that. That was just that ew kind of thing. And feeling like that betrayal that is kind of like double because you kind of like thought this was family, but then you realize, and even everyone around, especially in his family, it's kind of like they knew about this relationship. So it's kind of like, well, how long has this been going on?
mm,
And yet I had two children with this man. And I also experienced or witnessed this toxic relationship, not only in romantic relationship, but even at work.
mm,
I had in one of my first corporate high paying job, I had a boss who, yeah, somehow she picked on me in whatever ways that she could. and we're in an open space, and she would call me out and say whatever, which even at that moment, my confidence kept dropping.
Mm.
I lost my self-esteem because I was in a relationship that was toxic.
Mm.
And I'm here at work in a relationship with my boss that is toxic. And every time I had to question my ability, my intelligence and
Mm.
all that, because I was always called out. And I still remember I had the people that I was supervising. And when it comes to, I forgot the name that is called, where you have to give each other marks, like give some the people that you're supervising marks, how they performed and all that, an
Mhm.
assessment actually. Yeah, so we're doing an assessment, and I gave them what I gave them, and my supervisor gave me what he gave me. And at the end of the day, this woman who was like the boss came and redid everything that I did with the people that I was supervising, gave them more marks, looked at what I was given, reduced them. Like, of all the people, I'm the one who had the lower marks. So it's kind of things like that
Mhm.
kept on happening. So basically that was my journey. And then I would say things started speeding up, accelerating. It was not just raining, it was pouring when I lost this corporate job.
Mm.
The company was downsizing, and for me, with the pain that I was in, I decided it's time for me to be out. And while I was opting out, there was something also that happened in that department that kind of like sealed it in to say it's not time for you to be here. I discovered a fraud in my department, and everyone knew who did it. Somehow it was just like things that are clear. But what kind of like stood out is that my bosses were not willing to take accountability, as in like, why, how did this happen? Where did we, um, what is it that we didn't do right as well for us to figure this well in time and all that? So I remember I was once in an office being called, and they tried to twist things, not to say I did it, but it was more like, as a boss, you get to take accountability for what he did, and you get to tell those who are doing the investigation, the IT people, that you just trusted this person. And you can imagine going to work and then you have to put your, like, to say, I trusted this person. That
Mm.
means everyone was afraid of losing their job. So they were trying to put everything on me, and I realized, oh, I'm alone. So there I was again finding myself alone, you
Mm.
know. And at the end of the day, because my fear then was like losing my package. I got it, but after I got it, my mom got sick. My younger brother had a near-death accident, and I had to spend the money in that. And shortly after my mother died, my ex-boyfriend went to court with his sister-in-law slash girlfriend. And as I walked in court with my head high, knowing that this is a simple case, I've been a single parent taking care of my children, and he was not participating. But when I came out of court, it was different. I lost the case, and I tried with 7 more lawyers, and nothing happened. So that was like the turning of wheels for me.
Wow. And do you believe that all of this kind of was a mirror of um, you not truly being in your absolute truth and power? Or how do you make sense of all of these things happening to you? Because I personally believe that as hard as these things are, they are gifts and help us to return more back into or to our truth, to empower us. So how do you make sense of this? Do you believe these things helped you to return back home to this total queen and understand who you are here for? Or what's your take on this?
Absolutely. That is that and more. I'll just share with you like one of my journeys as I was going through that, trying to make sense of that, being angry at first. I was really angry, and I was like that mother who we all are. If you're a mother, you can relate, where you just know you vow every day, I will kill for my children. That's what
Mm.
we say as mothers, but at the same time, we're not willing to live for our children. We want to kill for them. So I was at that there, like literally, I wanted this man gone, because he
Yeah,
was threatening the only strength that I had. Because since I had my children, they were kind of like my strength and everything. I forgot about me even.
yeah.
I was living for them. And even the living for them was kind of like an illusion, where you will be at work and come home at 2 a.m. and then in the morning you just bath them, you take them to school. We are not present for our children, yet we claim we are working hard for them. So while I was going through that, trying to make sense, being angry, there was a time when I had the nudge to write, and I listened to this intuition for the first time, because we are always guided, but we often don't pay attention until it
Yeah.
gets messy,
Yeah.
right? So I stopped, and I was coming from work. Actually, that was like after I relocated to Germany, you know. I had a shower and then I sat in the dining room. I took a paper and started writing. And as I was writing, who are you without your mother, your father, your religion, your husband, your wife, your job, your house? All of that was just coming through. And I'm like, this is going to be a great post. I'm thinking it's going to be a post. So I'm just busy writing. And at the end, it said, who are you without your children?
Mm.
And that was the moment where I stopped. And when it's kind of like you're looking at something strange, and now this whole thing that I'm writing is becoming strange, and I'm like, this message is for me.
Mm.
And I started crying.
Mm.
And in that moment, I said, I don't know who I am. I don't know. I don't know, because we identify with a lot of things. And it came a moment where the pain that I was feeling was of my attachment to a lot of things that I was programmed to believe I
Mm.
get to be. And motherhood is one of those roles that is somehow attached to validation.
Mm.
Whether
Yeah.
you are married, are you a great woman, a great wife to your husband? Are you a great daughter to your mother? Are
Mm.
you a great mother to your children? You get to value and esteem yourself based on the outside,
Yeah.
like you're looking at everyone else but not yourself. So I stopped there not knowing who I was. And I would say that was the beginning of so many journeys, but one of them being I was used to being asked, who the hell do you think you are?
Mm.
Whether I was having an argument with someone at home, whether I was in a relationship having an argument with my so-called partner, who the hell do you think you are? And I always still had this thing of the queen, but it was like the queen in the shadow, because the queen never goes away. The question is, are you operating from the queen in the light or in the shadow?
Mm.
But who are you without
Mm.
is what really hit home. I get to find who I am. And I remember one message was, the problem that you have is you think these children belong to you, but they
Mm.
do not belong to you. They were given to you by God for you to take care of them. They are on their own mission. Are you willing to find your mission?
Mm.
And that was me now opening my ears even more to say, what the hell is my mission?
Mm.
Because as a queen, I knew there is something that I'm here to be, but I didn't know what that was. And through this journey, I get to open to my purpose, which is why I'm doing, which is also the reason why we get to have this conversation. I meet great people like you. So indeed, through this journey, because of not being in alignment, a lot of things happen. And on the other hand, it's not only being in alignment, it's the truth of it is the soul is always looking for ways to grow.
Mm.
And one of the things is that at times when it's chaotic and we are afraid and then all that, the soul is dancing. I went through my divorce here, feeling the joy that I've never experienced in my life, but my human was afraid. So it's what is within you that is being reflected outside. And on
Mm.
the other hand is the growth that is coming through. And you are the one who has the capacity,
Mm.
because as much as we are afraid and at times we stay small and all that, there is a gift that we are here to give birth to, which is one of the things is in one of my journeys, when I was told it's time for me to do what I was like, literally the words was, it's time for you to do what you are here to do. So I was like, what that is? I was taken out of my body. I kind of like connected with everyone and I felt all sorts of pain ripping through my body, heartache, whatever you call it. And I was like, this is too much. And at the same time, when that was happening, I connected to my inner child. Actually the time before I was born, and I was crying. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be born in this planet. Why? Because of the pain that is here on the planet. And after I connected with all that, I was brought back to my body. And the question was, are you willing to sit with your gift? Well, there's so many people who are struggling. It's kind of like I perceived how things were and why I didn't want to be here. And I connected with people who are indeed in pain, who are suffering. And here you are, you've got a gift that you are not willing to do, but you are willing to run with whatever accounting. There are people who are in their best service when they're in that accounting role, but that was not me because I was always contracting. I didn't like it. It was not expansive for me. And I believe this is what is happening to each and every one of us. When we're going through that, we are being called to express, unleash something that only we can deliver in our unique ways and also embody our higher selves.
I absolutely agree. How are you able to turn up your sound a little bit? I hear you not very well. Can you just check your sound?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I do feel this is a huge message and also issue for probably most of us. Really realizing, understanding, knowing who are we truly, and how do we find ourselves again, because there is so much noise in this world, so much distraction. We are constantly told to go for the bigger, the rush, the adrenaline, the this and that. We are constantly bombarded with messages, mostly we are even not aware of it, that the perfect thing is outside of us, not within, that there is a quick fix, that there is medication, and yeah, I think it is quite a journey, and even quite difficult to come back home to this truth. So I think it's beautiful that you have discovered this for yourself first and are now empowering others with this journey, with this gift. How can others imagine this, or how can you, or how are you helping others to truly find that truth?
The only way is to go within. And the only way is through what we are trying to avoid. One another thing is we live especially when I look at the personal development, there is this be positive. And being positive is a great thing. But if be positive is something that you are chasing, again, because you want other people to think a certain way about you, then you are also still living in the whole illusion of a rush and all that, like you mentioned. And I love what you said, So it starts with you being, first thing, we are the gems. Like, you are the gem, I'm the gem, everyone who's listening in that unique way, So it starts with us embracing the uniqueness, the extraordinary, the greatness that we are. And at times you may not feel it because there is chaos that is happening. There is a lot that happened that made you believe you are less than that. And not about trying to find it outside of ourselves, but it's sitting with the aspects of ourselves that we have denied, that we are ashamed of, and finding beauty in that. I went through so much. I felt all shame, less than, you call it, powerless, you call it. But the moment I came back to myself, and one thing that I love to say is that my life is not perfect. And who needs perfection in this messy world? But
Doesn't
one thing
exist.
that it doesn't.
Mm.
And one thing that I can tell you is, even though my life is not perfect, it's messy, but it's a beautiful mess
Mm.
because I learned all in love with all of it. So it starts with that. Because one thing, especially when we're talking about uniqueness, our uniqueness is something that was not accepted. It's something that was denied
Mm.
because other people do not have the capacity to handle that. So you also denied you because other people could not accept you. So it starts with those things that you pushed in the shadows. And the most important thing is feel your emotions. Stop chasing positivity, but being present with all of you. You know, I growing up as a child where I was not fully accepted, yet there was a lot of dysfunction. And obviously, for someone to feel a certain level of dysfunction in a family is because you are sensitive,
Yeah.
and you feel certain things that people may not feel, you are aware of certain things that people may not be aware of. And at times, these are the things that kind of like people don't, especially I don't think it's only dysfunction, but I think we don't talk about things that makes us uncomfortable or that are gonna disrupt an illusion of peace that we think is there. So people have this tendency, especially the people who love the approval seeking. It's kind of like, I just want peace. I don't want to talk about that. I want
Mm-hmm.
peace. But at the same time, deep within, there is no peace that we are feeling. There is a poison, there is a war that is going in within us. So I was a child who, being me, at the same time, I was angry. There was a lot of anger. And who are you to be angry as a
Mm.
girl child? It's very wrong. You can't even find a man. Like I was told even from childhood, just by the way I was, that you'll be lucky to even find a man who's gonna marry you, because of the person that I was,
Mm.
right? So as I was trying to be nice, wanting to fit in and all that, I tried to be nice in the sense of I didn't feel my emotion, I didn't speak my truth, and there's a lot of nonsense that I accepted along the way,
Yeah.
but it gets to a point where it's too much and then I can't take it anymore. And then that there comes now the raging queen, because as much as we speak about the queen, there is different aspects of us,
Yeah.
and at times it's something that is needed. So when the raging queen came through, especially when this aspect catches me off guard, uh, from there I will say things that I didn't want to say and I feel guilty about it. And so it's anger and then guilt, and it doesn't serve me. Who am I? What is it? I was just confused. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a great epiphany when I connected to Mother Ocean. And the advice that she gave me that I want to share with you is embrace who you are.
Mm.
Have all of you.
Yeah.
Feel all your emotions.
Mm.
Emotions are the evidence of life.
Yeah.
And she said, look at me. I'm the ocean. Everyone thinks they love the ocean, but they just like the surface of me. They want to come and sit at the beach and enjoy and all that. But no one really likes me. They don't like the deep darkness waters. But when I'm in my element, nothing stands on my way. I am the ocean, and that doesn't change who I am.
Mm.
And that's who we are. And when we get to embrace all of us, the natural beingness, it doesn't get to be something that is going to overwhelm us because
Absolutely.
we learn to even process it in a way that is healthy,
Mm.
right? So that is the beginning, you know, and just let go of the whole positivity and all that, because every emotion serves a purpose and is also informing us of where we are, especially when we are not in alignment or feel a certain way. But when you are aligned, even the anger, it just comes and passes through us. It doesn't even last, you know. And then one thing again with emotions that I got to experience at some point was being through a journey where I was crying, all sorts of like deeply heart open, broken cry. And while I was experiencing that, there was grief, there was sadness. And then there I was giggling and laughing. It was happening so fast. It felt like music, you know. And you can imagine if you are playing music and it's just one tone, it's boring, you know.
Yeah.
It might be nice in that high tone, but at the same time, it's kind of like, it's too much. It was just okay for a little bit. That's why you need the bass, you need all soprano and all that makes this beautiful sound. And emotions is the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I can't agree more. And it's beautiful what you shared. So being instead of striving and doing and pushing and accepting all of our emotions, being with everything that we are, yet both of these amazing things are yet again so very out there, I would say, like so very not in tune with our society, with what society asks us to do. So I believe that both of it is something we need to relearn, even though it's our natural being. And I think everyone here can agree that when we bottle up our emotions, when we suppress them, this is not pretty. Like eventually they just burst out and they are stuck in our bodies, which can lead to mental issues, body issues, disease, true imbalance. So not the most beautiful way to go about it. I would love to hear, what does a day in your life look like? Do you have certain rituals, how you start your day, how you realign yourself with Mother Nature, with your truth? And are there certain things that you recommend to your clients, to the people you work with?
yeah. The first thing that comes through, which is something that I love to start my day and end my day with, is the breath. And the breath is life. And the way I work with the breath is in so many ways. But that's like the beginning of my day. That's also something that I come to even during the day. Especially when I feel that times when, and it's something that I experienced actually lately, where there's some things that I was not aware of. And when I saw it, my mind was running like very fast. And I thought of even the worst thing. And I remember that moment, I was like, I started just breathing, and the breath is more breathe into your genitals. I talk about our sexual energy a lot, so that is kind of like the anchor that you get to breathe into. And why am I saying the breath is life? The breath is life in the sense that when a child is born, the first thing that confirms or affirms its aliveness is the breath. When you are doing something, and I'm gonna talk a lot about sexual energy, making love, and even when you make love, that process for you to last longer, for you to even be present and enjoy, it is the breath. When you are giving birth, when you are going through the labor pain and all that, is the breath that we rely on, right?
Absolutely.
And so one thing that I guide people to, it doesn't matter. And you look at it, the breath is not only to say use it because you are going through something. It's use it to connect to the pleasure of being. Whether you are making love, when you connect more to the breath, you become present and you breathe each other. And it also delays, especially those who are having a problem with pre-ejaculation. Seems like this is the topic we have been talking about more lately. so it also delays you it helps you to take longer enjoying each other, right? And one thing that I also love about the breath and the sound, it's that you can be breathing, especially when you're just opening your mouth and you start breathing and you allow the sound, because it's you can feel it. You allow the sound to just come through, and you allow the sound to come through, and it guides you. You rely on the sound that is coming through, connecting more with your body. If there is something that needs to be processed, you will eventually just start crying without even knowing why you're crying. And you don't even have to know why you're crying, because whatever that is being released. I trust the breath so much because I've got a daughter. I would say all my children, there's a bit of noise in the background. I hope it's not disturbing that much.
I can't hear it.
Oh, okay. So all my children, because of the back and forth and the custody, judicial injustice, they have been somehow taught, don't cry. Because as parents, we are different parents, and men mostly do not handle a crying child well. So I've realized that I've come across situations where my children want to cry and they can't, so they're just bottling it up, and I'll be like, do you want to cry? No, I don't want to cry, especially my little daughter. And I'll just say, it's okay to cry. A strong girl cries. And she'll say, no, I don't want to. And I'll just start opening my mouth and guiding her. I don't know what it does, but what I know is just by doing that, it gives meaning to her own sound, to her own voice. And she bursts out crying and let it out. And I don't think this is something that works on the child. It works on us, but we get to be the parent to our own inner children. So it's something that I'll guide people to play with. When you feel something pissed you off, just find your own safe space and bring in the sound. And it may not, it doesn't have to mean anything. It can just make a sound. It's just the same thing as you are listening to a song, and when you are singing with the song because you are hurting, eventually you start crying, because there is a sound that is coming through. But now how beautiful it is when you combine it with the breath, and direct it especially to where you feel the discomfort, if at all you are someone who can feel, because it's not about what is here, it's about the sensations, the blocks that the body has, which is something that, by the nature of my work, when I connect with people, that's the first thing that comes through. There is pain here. Like you said, when you don't process your emotions, it causes disease. Mental, emotional, physical, there is always that. And all these things are stored in your body. So whatever work that you're doing, come back to the body, because the body is everything. It is everything, and it has its own intelligence. And we often downplay its intelligence. We are focused, we're just feeding the mind. And most people function from here up. That's why people would say, I've done a lot of work and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked because I'm not here in the body.
They haven't embodied it. I again totally agree. And as an Ayurvedic coach or yoga teacher, absolutely, I also believe that the breath is everything and so powerful. And just alone that when you deeply breathe into your belly, you switch your nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic nervous system. And this alone is what most of us really need, because it is my experience that unfortunately most of us function in a high stress environment and don't even know how stressed they truly are. And of course, this changes all their physiological abilities and ways their body functions. I also love that you talked about the sound. So in Ayurveda, it is in particular the humming sound, which you know, it's your own vibration. And this, for example, creates nitric oxide, which is one of our most powerful antioxidants, and just, yeah, so amazing how we, through our body, can truly soothe and recreate or reset our stories, just rebalance everything deep down. And also what you said, so many of us just function only in the mind. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a few clients who came to me and said, I don't understand. I've done everything. And as you said before, I'm super positive. I get up every day again and do my to-do list. And then at night, you know, nothing has worked again, and I don't know why. And it's exactly because they've gone through their list, and they've tried so hard to be positive, but they can't feel it, and they haven't truly allowed themselves to reset, to grieve, to fully believe in who they are and who they are meant to be. So I love this. I could talk to you forever, but time is running, time is ticking, a concept of itself, but I do have something else afterwards. So could you please share with my audience 3 beautiful golden nuggets, just short wisdoms that they can remember when they think of the beautiful you?
One thing that I truly believe in is we get to make love with life. And for
Beautiful.
us to make love with life, we get to connect to our sexual energy for ourselves.
Mm.
You know, when I talk about sexual energy, people will be like, I'm in a relationship and all that. It's not about sexual activity, but your sexual energy, and follow what turns you on. You know, because sexual energy is not about the sexual activity. It's you following pleasure, knowing that you deserve pleasure. It's you creating from that inspiration, from the desire, not always being led by desperation. Because when we wait for life to happen, which I'm someone who experienced that, I waited for life to happen. And when you create from desperation, you create more desperation. So when you are led by the desire, you can imagine the spine is just erecting by just connecting to that. It's been turned on. So follow what turns you on. Yeah, and make love with life.
Beautiful. I love that. Anything else you've got for us, beautiful Gao, today? Any other wisdoms?
The only thing that I can emphasize is your emotions are precious. They are the evidence of life. Feel them, you know, and don't go out to say, I'm gonna tell somebody off, because at times we think that's the way we get to express something. It's you getting to be with you. It's you getting to feel and acknowledge what is here. Especially the inner child is often that the aspect of us that is feeling us. So be the parent that you desired for your own inner children, because that will change the relationship that you have with others and also the people that you attract in your life. Become the parent you desired to your own inner children.
Beautiful. I love that. Amazing. Thank you so much. Where can we find you?
Gao Motsemme is my name in all platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And yeah, that's even my website is gaomotsemme.com. That's how you can find me. And if it is okay with you, I can also share my Calendly for those who are open to experience that introduction to the African ancient quantum methodology. You know, I'm willing to give to your audience a 45 minutes introductory call to my work. And it's free.
Wonderful.
You get to just, yeah.
That would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, I would put all of this into the show notes, and that's very, very generous of you. Thank you so much for gifting this to my audience. I hope that everyone who like now feels like I truly want to go back home to my true me and live an amazing, pleasureful life aligned with myself as my true purpose is writing down your name and getting in touch with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today. And above everything, thank you so much for helping me to make our world a healthier, happier place. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Take care,
And I
beautiful.
wish you a wonderful, magical, and orgasmic day, week, night, wherever you're watching this.
No, thank you. Namaste.
If you love and enjoy my podcast, then please do me a favor and help me to make our world a healthier, happier place. You can do so by sharing this episode with just one other person who you believe would greatly benefit from it. I know that you were born to live your best life and to feel absolutely amazing in your precious body, your brilliant mind, and your boundless soul. So what are you still waiting for? Please make sure you do. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I believe in you. Keep glowing. Much love.